Good morning, everybody. Y'all know what this is. It's the Ed Lover Show with Monie Love. And joining us in the studio right now are twin doctors, Dr. Idris Abdul Rahman, right?
Yeah, you got it.
And Dr. Jamil Abdul Rahman. Both of these brothers here are OBGYNs, and it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I thought it was only right to have y'all in here to talk about breast cancer
thank you, sir.
awareness and prevention. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning.
This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. What is the best advice you can give a woman about breast cancer awareness?
I would say the number one thing is breast self-exams. I tell all my patients you got to examine your breast at least once a month, if not more often. Yeah. And you got to, if there are any issues, any changes, talk to your doctor. That is the number one thing you can do.
Yeah, it's one of those things where an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You catch it early, breast cancer is treatable 99% of the time. But once it advances, stage 3, stage 4, that's when you have issues. And in African-American women, even more so. Yeah. Because, white women are about 13% more likely to get breast cancer, but black women are 30% more likely to die from it.
Why do you think that is?
Well, so you often see what's called triple negative receptor breast cancers in African-American women, and those are the super aggressive ones. Yeah. Now, why you see them in black women, there's a lot of theories. One theory is breastfeeding actually decreases the risk of breast cancer later in life, and black women don't breastfeed as often as non-black women. So
my ex-wife did. Woo,
did she?
Buddy. Man, that boy was a mountain to handle.
He was a feeder, huh?
Yes, sir. He didn't like her to go anywhere.
Oh my!
And everybody that picked him up when his mouth would just start.
He's looking for that breast.
I tell him, I don't have no breast. Get off me.
He's like, then put me down. Oh yeah.
So you would recommend to a woman that's having a baby to breastfeed?
Absolutely. I mean, not only does it reduce the risk of breast cancer, but it's just good for weight loss. It's better for baby, for the immune system, but it absolutely does reduce the risk of breast cancer.
And they say it makes for a more bright and intelligent child.
It does.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. The IQs. I think I read something where they said on average, kids who are breastfed have IQs that are like 15 to 20 points higher.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's cheap.
I was breastfed.
I was too. I just got that. I got that hind milk. Didn't have as many nutrients in it.
Maybe my son missed that part of the movie or something like that, because he's the only one. No, my daughter was breastfed also, and they're doing phenomenally academically right now.
Yeah.
What else would you tell women about breast cancer awareness that they need to know?
Mammography is another big one. I mean, there's some controversy. People think, mammography can cause breast cancer, but mammography is huge. Again, finding a lump, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You can find a lump, but a mammogram can generally find it much earlier. So you got to get in, you got to get those mammograms.
The best screening test is MRI, but it's literally 10 times higher than mammogram. Wow. So I tell people, if you still have concerns, don't just walk away with that normal mammogram. If you have concerns, something looks funny, feels funny, you're concerned, push for that MRI.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, because you got to get it very early.
You got to get it early. You get it early, it's curable the majority of the time.
Yeah. And then men can also get breast cancer.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
So men, we still have the same tissue that women have, so we can get breast cancer, just like men, believe it or not, can breastfeed too. It's a long story. I can talk about it. That's another show.
We got time.
There's actually a tribe of men, and we forget the name of the tribe now, where the men and the women both breastfeed. And if you stimulate the breasts enough, your brain will produce this hormone called prolactin, like women have, and you can breastfeed. So men can breastfeed.
But it is rare. But again, for men too, if you feel a lump, you still let your doctor know it's possible.
And
it's
if
rare,
you're a
but
male
it's
with a strong family history of breast cancer, you're at a little bit higher risk. So,
If you're a woman with a strong family history of breast cancer, should you go in earlier? And
Absolutely.
how old should a woman be before they start checking?
Normally they say women should be 40 when they first start getting their mammograms, but the one caveat to that is if you've got a first-degree relative who was diagnosed with breast cancer, you should start getting your screening 10 years earlier than they were when they were diagnosed. So if your mom, for example, was diagnosed at 35, you should start at 25. So if a first-degree relative or multiple first-degree relatives have had it, start 10 years earlier than they were when they were diagnosed.
So it could be hereditary.
Oh, for sure.
And if you've had a lot of relatives, like first-degree relatives, mom, sister with breast and or ovarian cancer, you should talk to your doctor about testing for those as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's simple blood tests. Blood tests can tell you
if you're genetically predisposed.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And we have patients who will actually get prophylactic mastectomies. Well, they will remove the breast because the risk is so high.
Their risk is so high.
That's what Angelina Jolie did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What kind of mental strain or do you think that puts on women when they have to get a mastectomy?
You know what? I mean, obviously, not being a woman, it's hard to totally identify. But what I tell people is, imagine having to move one of your testicles as a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you identify with your breast
you just walk around
as part of you.
You know how fellas are. We adapt. You walk around, your mans and them start calling you one nut. Just go with it. Yeah, what up, one nut? Yo, what up?
What's going on? That's my thing.
I think part of the problem is because, and we were talking about this before the show, because the breasts are so sexualized in society,
Right.
I think people feel like they're not as much of of a woman.
part of their identity.
It's part of their identity, you know, and it's huge. And you have some women that will still not remove their breast even though they've been diagnosed with breast cancer. They'll remove the cancer but leave their breast. So, I mean, every woman is different.
Me, like, I feel like I'm not a woman if I don't have my uterus, my ovaries, and my breast, you know? It can really be difficult for people, you know?
Yeah,
well, and they feel like that's how we look at them. They feel like the first
Right.
thing a man looks at is, you know, the breasts, the backside, and the legs.
Not
you
me.
know?
I look at the other side.
I said the backside and the legs.
Yeah,
Back and then move forward. It can be in
Backside
any order. It can be in any
I
order.
am a brother. You know, you gotta have a little junky junk in the trunk for me. I don't know about everybody else. A lot of women out there are concerned. You know, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah.
We throw the pink on and all of that for a month.
And then you forget
But it
about
should be Breast Cancer Awareness
Year.
all the time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Should they contact their local doctor? What about women who don't have health insurance?
Well,
What do they do?
Well, you know, but each state is different. I know in Illinois, for example, the state actually has a program called the Illinois Breast and Cervical Cancer Program, where even if you don't have insurance, they'll pay for mammograms and pap smears. So the first thing I would tell people is kind of find out what your state's local resources are. But again, with, you know, everybody wants to blast with the ACA, the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, almost anybody can get insurance. So that really shouldn't be a barrier anymore.
And all women health issues are covered. Like
Yes.
PAPs and mammograms, they're covered under ACA. So really, you're covered.
Oh,
You just got to
okay.
find a doc. And
So
you're
you
covered.
just got to do your research.
You just got to
Look it up. Everybody got a smartphone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
So look it up in your
Google it.
smartphone. If you
Yeah.
don't have insurance, go out there, contact
Local
the
health
local
department.
people.
Yeah,
your health
yeah.
department.
Absolutely.
Health department will steer you into the right
The
direction.
resources are there.
Yeah, man. I thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you so
with
much
us
for
today.
having
It was
us.
awesome. It was
Thank y'all
awesome.
so much, man. And ladies out there, if you're listening, please get detected very early. The earlier, the better. Save your lives. It's the Ed Lover Show with Monie Love.